Well, we are talking about Twitter shadow banning innocent users, sometimes without their knowledge and consent, stolen-like tactics, executing them digitally. I'm joined in-house by the Joe Biggs and on Skype, Brittany Pettibone. Brittany, for those of our viewers who don't know you, tell us briefly what you've been tweeting, who you are, and why you think they've done this.
Well, I've been tweeting a lot about the spirit cooking and the alleged pedophile ring involving some of our DC elites and politicians. And I also was tweeting a lot about the WikiLeaks articles. I've been working with a little team and we've been digging them up. And so I was tweeting a lot about those. And I kind of realized it was about a week ago, suddenly my retweet count just dropped. It was cut to like a third or even less. And I was like, this is kind of weird. Maybe everyone left Twitter after the election. But then after 2 days or so, I researched shadow banning and figured out how to verify if you're being shadow banned, and I was. And I still am. So hopefully it doesn't last too much longer. But
For people that are of similar views that might be tweeting, how can you figure out that this has happened to you? Is there something that you just type into Google and then you realize, oh my gosh, this is me too?
yes, what you can do is search your name or your handle, your Twitter handle in while being logged in, and you should see that all of your tweets and the people who have mentioned you will show up. Then what you do is you log out, go back to Twitter, search your name, and if I did this and only like 5 tweets popped up. So, and none of them were even mine. They were just people mentioning me from like October 2013. So that means I've been shadow banned. They've also made it so many people can't retweet my tweets. And they've also unfollowed people, had people unfollow my account without their knowledge. So they're doing all sorts of things.
It sounds like a coup underway to silence members of what they're calling the alt-right. Something similar happened to our in-house reporter, Joe Biggs, and he has some tips for people who kind of want to get around it. He has some very creative ways of going ahead and getting your tweets noticed. This happened to you too.
Well, yesterday, let's go back to this whole people getting their accounts banned yesterday. So yesterday, from time to time, I honestly get on the SPLC. I'm always hopeful that maybe my name will be there one day. I would wear that as a badge of honor just because they are actually the real hate group. But I was on there and they had just opened up this new page, how the alt-right was this new threat.
Southern Poverty Law Center, for those of you who don't know the acronym. Just really briefly, because they're the group that they're like good riddance to this. They're probably
So yesterday I started making videos. I was like, screw you guys, and they listed all these accounts. Well, later that day, throughout the evening, I go home and I'm making more videos telling the SPLC to go screw off. And next thing you know, Baked Alaska, Mark Dice, everybody's calling me like, dude, all these accounts are getting dropped. And they were just dropping like flies. And it was the same people that were in a picture on SPLC that I'd seen earlier that day. And all those people got taken away. So it was interesting to see how that unfolded. Then, like you said, they tweeted out, good riddance, bye-bye. So they definitely had a hand in that. They definitely communicated, I believe, with Twitter to get those people banned. But there are ways to get around if you notice that your account's going down. And I noticed this happening to me too. I started groups on Twitter, little direct messages, DM groups, with other prominent people within the movement, so to say, that are verified or not verified. And what I do is I just send them a tweet and then I have them push it out if I notice it's not getting any attention like it normally does. And that usually helps bring traffic back to your site as well. So there are ways around it, but they are definitely doing it, and they're doing it now since this. And it's funny, it's coming from the same people who are always
free speech.
always attacking us for free speech. And now that Trump's won, they're all like, oh, where's my free speech at? And they're all wigging out right now, and they're trying to shut us down because they know we're going to be the main voices to be heard.
Well, Brittany, that has to be a badge of honor for you, first of all, to be shadow banned by Twitter. I know that you and your sister, Nicole, have been at the forefront of publishing WikiLeaks alleged pedophile talk and these WikiLeaks emails. We have to say alleged just to be careful of any suit. But do you think that had a hand in it, just what you were publishing? You were too good at uncovering things and putting things together. I know it was said to me that you had a source, an anonymous even, that was kind of giving you hacked information. Do you think that is why, or did you just, did you retweet Southern Poverty Law and they just sort of, go, we've got to get rid of this girl?
No, so actually, after the last interview I did with you guys on election night, and we talked a lot about the spirit cooking and alleged pedophile ring, there were some anons that contacted me who had been aggregating all this information from WikiLeaks all over the internet, and they needed a source to put it through. So, because most of them don't have Twitter, so I, very readily volunteered because I'm really, dedicated to uncovering this, whatever's there. So I said yes, and we've all been kind of working together, and there's some people on Gab as well. I just actually really want to give a quick shout out to Gab. For anyone who doesn't know, it is another social network, which is an alternative to Twitter, which is dedicated to free speech. And it's in beta testing right now, but there's a sign up list. You can sign up now and get on in a few days or weeks or so, and it is absolutely amazing. So I think that will be the new thing, especially if Twitter, keeps going the way it's going, censoring everyone. So we'll see.
Joe, so for people who need an alternative or who've been banned or censored, well, first of all, we just want to highlight the fact that this happened to him. It's happened to Brittany, and there isn't a lot of recourse people can do. Do you have any other recommendations? I mean, I've never heard of Gab personally. It sounds.
Well, I actually interviewed the guy who created Gab, Andrew, maybe a month or two ago, when they were in their infancy, so to say, when he first started. And I'm actually a member on there as well. Paul Joseph Watson, Milo's on there. Numbers of people are using it. It's going to pick up, and once people see what's going on with Twitter and they're sick and tired of that and sick and tired of being censored, I think they're going to move to that avenue. There's another thing that's happening too as well. I have a verified account on Twitter. I'm not able to see any of my verified notifications whatsoever. It's empty now. It's happening to Baked Alaska. It's happening to Mark Dice, to Paul Joseph Watson, to Harlan Hill, who works for Fox News. To Alex Jones's account. I looked at his yesterday. It's happening on that one as well. Mm-hmm. So they're definitely attacking people who are very prominent in this alt-right movement, so to say, people who are, not libtards.
Right. Brittany, do you think this is going to stop you from continuing the fight to uncover what's in WikiLeaks? You and I and Owen, I remember this interview quite well on election night where it was on the radio show, and you just began pounding in, what you were finding, and it's really horrific. And again, we have to say alleged because none of this has been formally, there's no charge pending, but just the content of these emails, if they're true, they're so disturbing. Every American reading these emails should have a chill go down their spine, frankly. I mean, we're talking about high-level people in government, high-level people of Clinton's camp that were allegedly involved in something incredibly dark, incredibly sinister. Is this going to stop you from doing it, or are you just going to, is it spurred you on to keep going with new vigor here?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I hope the left will still understand that the more you try and censor us, the louder we're going to get. I mean, there's this saying, it's nothing is, as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And that's basically what a lot of these people who are getting censored are. It's their ideas. The left has bad ideas. I don't know if they realize that yet or not, but even with all of the, promotion and all the big people they have behind them pushing these things, they're just dying in the water. Like Twitter does, I believe they have a list of accounts that they just watch for the same people who restart an account. For example, Ricky Vaughn is one of the main ones. He's been banned like 5 times, but he just keeps coming back, and there are people that love him, and they're not going to be able to stop him. They're not going to be able to stop me, none of us. So yes, I'm actually still putting together all of this, alleged pedophile information. I'm trying to aggregate it all into one large case, and then I want to put it out, just because it'll be more, solid, and people will be able to digest it easier rather than just giving people pieces, here and there. I want to give them the full picture, simplified, and just present it to them, not in an accusing way, but just more like, this is what we found. What do you think? And you determine its legitimacy, essentially.
Twitter rules, they say that they prohibit the targeting and abuse of harassment, and we will suspend accounts that violate this policy. I am a fan of your Twitter account. I'm on it every day. I certainly look at this guy's account. Abuse is a very subjective word. Joe, no abuse underway whatsoever. He's got a little bit of an agitator's heart, but we're not talking about abuse or a violation of a policy here. That's the bottom line. 10 seconds.
Twitter is a sponge full of liberal tears, and I'm just here to squeeze it.
Brittany, it was such an honor to be with you. You and your sister as well. Keep this up, this amazing work. Join us on our website for more information about this, INFOWARS.com. I'm Margaret Hell, joined by Joe Beggs.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond